Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into another fascinating topic. Today, we're taking a look at the world of technology designed for seniors.
Oh, this should be interesting.
It is. And, we love to have those really practical takeaways. So we're looking closely at a document called Do's and Don'ts of Tech for Seniors.
I've seen this one.
Yeah, it was published by PertLink back in 2022.
Right.
And it's not meant to be like this super in-depth resource, but it's a great checklist.
A great starting point,
Exactly.
for sure.
So we really want to understand how tech can be used to enhance safety and health and comfort for seniors,
Makes sense.
whether they're aging in place or living in assisted living facilities.
Right.
And I think what's really interesting about this document is that it blends like these high-tech solutions with some really common sense tips.
I think that's really important because you don't want to overcomplicate things, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Especially for seniors who might not be as familiar with all the latest gadgets and gizmos.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a good approach.
Yeah. So one of the first things that really stood out to me in this document is this concept of a care circle.
Yeah, the care circle, it's like a team
Okay.
of people who are dedicated to looking out for a senior's well-being.
I like that.
So you've got family members,
Okay.
friends, maybe healthcare professionals, all working together
Got it.
to make sure that senior is safe and healthy and happy.
That's great. And how does technology fit into this?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So imagine this. You have a smart scale that notices a sudden change in weight,
Oh, that's a good example.
or a door sensor that indicates the fridge hasn't been opened all day.
Okay. Yeah.
An app could send alerts to the care circle.
So they can check in. How
Exactly.
smart.
It's like having an extra pair of eyes and ears looking out for them,
Right.
even when you can't be there physically.
That's so reassuring, especially for families who might be worried about their loved ones.
Exactly. And it's not just about reacting to problems after they happen.
Oh, okay.
This kind of monitoring can actually help prevent issues from arising in the first place.
How so?
We'll take those smart scales, for example. They can track so much more than just weight.
Like what?
Body mass index, heart rate, body composition.
Wow.
All of that data can be sent directly to a doctor who can then look for trends,
Okay.
for potential problems before they become serious.
That's amazing. It's like having a virtual health coach
It is.
that's constantly monitoring your well-being.
Right.
It's fantastic.
It's preventative care at its best.
Yeah. And speaking of things that need protecting, the document also talks about smart safes for valuables.
Oh, yeah. Those are becoming increasingly popular,
Yeah. And they mention both code-based and biometric options,
which I think is a great idea because remembering codes can be difficult for anyone.
especially as we get older.
Exactly. But with biometrics, you can use your fingerprint or even your face to access the safe.
That's a lot easier.
It is.
Yeah. So much more convenient.
But there are some things to consider.
Okay. What kinds of things?
Well, like what happens if your fingerprint changes due to age or medication?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, so it's important to think about those things.
I see.
But overall, biometric safes can be a really great solution.
Yeah. And what I appreciate about this PertLink document is that it doesn't just offer solutions,
Right.
but it encourages you to think about all the different angles.
Absolutely.
It's all about finding what works best for each individual.
It's about empowerment,
I like that.
not just automation.
Exactly. And that brings me to another interesting point they make about companion robots.
Oh, yeah, those are cool.
They can be really helpful for medication reminders, right?
Right.
But the document emphasizes using familiar faces and voices for the robot's interactions.
Like a family member or a friend.
Yeah, exactly. Like imagine a robot that looks and sounds like your grandchild.
Oh, that's a cute idea.
Right. Instead of just some generic robotic voice.
It would make a huge difference.
Oh, I think so.
It would feel so much more personal and comforting.
It wouldn't feel so cold and impersonal.
Exactly.
It's like having a little buddy there with you
Yeah.
to help you out and keep you company.
It's a great example of how technology can be used to enhance human connection.
Exactly. It's not about replacing human interaction,
Right.
but about finding ways to supplement it,
And make it more accessible.
especially for seniors who might be living alone or have limited mobility.
Exactly.
So we've talked about smart scales and companion robots, but what about something as simple as a door sensor?
Oh, yeah, those can be surprisingly useful.
In what ways?
Well, they can track how often the fridge or pantry is accessed,
Okay.
which can give you insights into someone's eating habits.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so if you notice a sudden change in those patterns,
Right.
it could be a sign that something's wrong.
And they also talk about sensors on bathroom doors, right?
Yes.
To track toilet and bathing habits.
Exactly. It's all about gathering information.
So we can get a better understanding of someone's overall well-being.
Right, and it's all done in a way that respects privacy and dignity.
which is so important,
Absolutely.
especially when we're talking about using technology to monitor people's activities.
It's a sensitive topic for sure.
Yeah, and that reminds me of the section on CCTV with facial recognition.
Ah, yes.
It can be a useful tool for preventing wandering, but obviously there are privacy concerns.
For sure. And there are also practical challenges to consider.
Like what?
Well, age-related changes to facial features,
Okay.
like a drooping head, can actually affect the accuracy of facial recognition.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
So even if you're using this technology,
Yeah.
you need to make sure it's actually effective.
That's a great point.
And think about things like camera placement and lighting
Right.
to compensate for those changes.
That makes sense.
It's all about finding that balance between safety and privacy.
Exactly. And speaking of safety, let's talk about some of those less flashy but equally important measures,
Like what?
like those emergency pull cords you see in bathrooms
Ah, yeah, those are essential.
and panic buttons near the bed.
Right, both with reliable 247 connections to help desks.
It's so important to have those safety nets in place.
Absolutely, especially for seniors who might be living alone.
It gives them a sense of security.
And peace of mind for their loved ones as well.
Exactly. Knowing that help is just a button press away.
It's a real lifesaver.
And while we're on the topic of peace of mind, the document mentions something called smart tags.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
Have you used them?
I have. I
Hmm.
put one on my keys because I'm always losing them.
Oh, that's smart.
It's saved me so much stress.
So how do they work?
You attach a little tag to anything you don't want to lose.
Okay.
Your keys, your wallet, your pet.
Even your pet.
Yeah, some people use them for their pets too.
It's a good idea.
And then if you misplace something, you can track it down through an app on your phone.
Oh, that's so convenient.
It is. It uses Bluetooth technology.
Oh, okay.
So it's really easy to set up and use.
So it's like a little insurance policy against those, where did I put that,
Yeah,
moments. We've talked a lot about safety and monitoring, but tech can do so much more for seniors.
Oh, absolutely.
It can make their lives more comfortable and enjoyable as well.
For sure. And that's something we'll explore further in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. So we were talking about how technology can make life easier for seniors.
Right.
Yeah.
But those little things that can make a big difference.
Exactly. And you know, one thing that comes to mind is smart thermostats.
Oh, yeah. Those are great.
You can adjust the temperature from your phone.
So convenient.
It is,
Yeah.
especially for seniors who might have mobility issues.
Right. Or maybe they just don't want to get up and down all the time.
Exactly. And there's a safety aspect too.
Oh, how so?
Well, these thermostats can send alerts to the care circle.
Oh, right. We talked about those.
If the temperature seems off.
Like if it's too hot or too cold.
Exactly. It's like having a watchful eye on the environment,
That's a good way to put it.
making sure things are safe and comfortable.
Yeah. And speaking of comfort, the document also mentions electronic shower temperature controls.
Oh, those are fantastic.
Yeah, I've heard good things about those,
They can really help prevent those sudden changes in water temperature,
which can be dangerous.
especially for seniors who might have sensitive skin or be more prone to falls.
All about reducing those risks.
Exactly, and making those everyday tasks like showering a little bit easier.
So it's not just about high-tech gadgets. It's about those practical solutions, too.
Absolutely. It's about using technology to address real-life needs.
And speaking of practical solutions, what about smart lighting?
Smart lighting is great for so many reasons.
Yeah, in what ways?
Well, think about motion sensors that automatically light up hallways at night.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So seniors don't have to fumble for light switches in the dark.
Reduces the risk of falls.
Exactly. And you can also use time switches.
What do those do?
They turn lights on and off at set times.
So it looks like someone's home, even when they're not.
Exactly. It can deter burglars.
Oh, that's a good point.
And a lot of these smart lighting systems can be controlled remotely through apps.
So you can manage everything from your phone.
Exactly. It's so convenient,
Yeah, and it gives seniors more control over their environment.
which is really important.
And while we're on the topic of making life easier, those robot vacuum cleaners are pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Those are great for seniors who might have trouble with housework.
I can imagine.
They can just set it and forget it.
Though you do have to be careful about tripping hazards.
That's a good point.
Maybe those little robots need some kind of warning signal.
Yeah, maybe like a little beep or something.
Something to let people know they're coming through.
That's a good idea.
We've talked about a lot of different technologies so far.
We have.
But I'm curious about something I saw in the document about induction cooktops.
Oh, those are becoming increasingly popular.
What makes them a good option for seniors?
Well, they have some great safety features.
Like what?
For instance, they automatically shut off if there's no pot or pan on the surface.
Oh, that's good.
Or if there's a spill.
Prevents fires.
Exactly. And they also have circuit breakers
For added protection.
against electrical surges.
So it's really about making the kitchen a safer place,
Absolutely.
which is important for everyone, but especially for seniors.
Right, because they might be more vulnerable to accidents.
So we've seen how technology can help seniors with safety and health monitoring.
And even everyday tasks.
But there's another area where tech really shines.
Communication and connection.
Exactly. We talked about the Care Circle earlier.
Right.
And technology can play a huge role in helping seniors stay connected with their loved ones,
Absolutely. It's so important for mental and emotional well-being.
especially as we get older.
We need those social connections.
And the document specifically mentions video chat apps,
Oh, those have been a lifesaver for so many people.
especially during the pandemic.
It's amazing how they can bring people together even when they're miles apart.
And for seniors, it can be such a lifeline.
They can see their grandkids grow up.
Share special moments with family and friends.
It's like being there in person.
Almost.
And it's not just about staying in touch with family.
Right.
Video chat can be used for so many things.
Like what?
Virtual doctor's appointments, online classes, even social gatherings.
A whole new world of possibilities.
It is.
And what about those electronic photo albums?
Oh, those are so sweet.
I love the idea of having all those memories in one place
And you can label the photos with names.
to help with memory and recognition.
It's a great way for seniors to reminisce and stay connected to their past.
Yeah, it's like having a personalized photo gallery.
Right at their fingertips.
It's amazing how technology can bring the past and present together.
It is.
And you know, something I found interesting in the document was the mention of fixed-line phones.
You mean landlines?
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be obsolete by now.
I know, right?
But there's something to be said for their simplicity and reliability.
Some seniors just prefer them,
They're familiar and comfortable,
and they can be a lifeline in an emergency.
especially if the power goes out or the cell phone network is down.
So it's good to have that backup option.
Absolutely.
But even with the simplest technologies, it's important to make sure they're user-friendly.
That's so true.
The document stresses the need for clear and simple instructions,
We can't assume that everyone is tech savvy.
especially seniors who might not have grown up with all these gadgets.
Exactly.
So we need to make things as easy as possible for them.
Think about larger buttons on remotes, clear fonts on screens, and easy to understand layouts.
It's all about reducing frustration.
And making technology accessible to everyone.
And they even suggest taking photos of remotes
And labeling the buttons.
or covering up buttons that aren't needed.
It's those little things that can make a big difference.
Absolutely. It's all about making people feel comfortable and confident using technology,
And that's a great segue into our next topic,
which is,
the potential downsides of technology.
oh, right. We've talked a lot about the benefits, but we need to be mindful of the risks as well.
Absolutely, it's about finding that balance.
And that's something we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. So far, we've been pretty excited about all this technology for seniors.
Right, it's definitely got a lot of potential.
But like with anything else, there are some downsides, some cautions to consider.
Exactly, we need to make sure technology is a help, not a hindrance.
And one of the first things that jumped out at me in the document was this idea of tech overload,
Oh, yeah, it's easy to get overwhelmed.
especially for seniors who might not be as comfortable with technology.
Think about it. New gadgets, apps, updates all the time.
It's a lot to keep up with.
So starting slowly is key.
Okay, so what, just one or two new things at a time?
Exactly. Focus on what meets their specific needs. Make sure they're comfortable before adding more.
Makes sense. And this also reminds me of the point they made about tech support.
Oh, having someone to call for help is essential.
Absolutely. There are always going to be those moments of, how does this thing work?
It can be frustrating, especially if you're not tech savvy.
And I think it goes beyond just fixing technical problems.
It's about having someone who can explain things clearly.
So I'm patient, reassuring.
Someone who makes you feel empowered to use the tech, not intimidated by it.
That's a great point. And that ties into another important topic, privacy and dignity.
Absolutely. Technology should enhance independence, not diminish it.
It's so easy to get carried away with all the cool monitoring features and forget about those boundaries.
If you're using tech to keep tabs on a senior, open communication is vital.
Let them know what information is being gathered, how it's used, who sees it.
They need to be involved in those decisions.
Makes them feel respected, in control.
Exactly. And that respect extends to online safety, too.
Oh, good point. especially because seniors can be more vulnerable to scams online.
We need to educate them about cybersecurity.
How to spot those phishing emails, create strong passwords, all that.
Give them the tools to be safe and confident online.
And let's not forget about the physical challenges that can come with aging.
Deteriorating eyesight, arthritis, things like that.
It's crucial to pick devices that are actually usable for them.
Think big buttons, larger screens, lightweight designs.
Voice control features can be helpful too.
Absolutely. Anything that makes the technology accessible and comfortable.
We've really explored a lot today, haven't we? It's amazing to see all the ways tech can support seniors.
It truly is transformative, and what excites me is that it's always evolving.
It makes you wonder what the future holds, right?
Imagine AI companions providing personalized care, or virtual reality bringing back cherished memories.
The possibilities are endless, but as we embrace these innovations,
We can't forget the human element.
technology is a powerful tool, but it can't replace human connection.
The warmth of a hug, the comfort of a familiar voice.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it's about using tech to enhance quality of life, not replace those essential human elements.
Helping seniors stay connected, engaged, living life to the fullest.
Well, we've certainly given our listeners a lot to think about today.
We hope they'll continue exploring this topic, delve deeper into the areas that interest them.
Whether it's safety, communication, or any aspect of tech and aging.
There's a wealth of information out there waiting to be discovered.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep connecting.